Now we have 7 psychopaths, right?
Instead of 2 crazy Irish women.
Instead of...
Yes.
So let's just start talking. Insane. What's that like living in your head?
It's
yeah, well, it is.
it's fine. It's
disaster.
just you need lots of maps and
Lots of ink and
early
lots of
notes.
paper.
No, it's fun to write insane characters.
Mhm.
It's fun because at any given moment they could take the story anywhere, and they do. So there's a joy for a writer in that kind of work. But I also think it's fun to explore that and the madness of that, but also to seriously take it, to try and take that kind of mad Hollywood story to a gentler, moral kind of almost spiritual place. The attempt, and then they keep dragging it
Right.
back to something that's always going to be mental and crazy.
Yeah.
There's a joy to it. I think
Yeah.
there's a joy to, because Colin hasn't seen the film yet.
Oh, there's a lot of joy to it. But when
there's
you
a-
read it, did you feel like you knew where it was going when you were reading it?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's of all the things I've done over the last 15 years, it's the hardest film for me to try and break down into sound bites or try and explain what the plot is, or it really is. I found it's so, aspects of it are so meta, and there's so many intertwining stories, and there's so many different time periods, and there's so many tangents that the film goes off on before it turns back to the through line of narrative, that I had no idea where it was going. No, but I just enjoyed the ride, and that's the whole thing about Martin's writing in Bruges as well. I didn't know where that story was going, but you know, it's less about, I find anyway, as an actor, maybe reading Martin's work is less about where the story is going than how it gets there. You know, it's more to do with how the characters are relating to each other rather than what they're relating to each other about. Either,
Right, moment to moment to
yeah,
moment to
yeah,
moment
really,
to moment.
really, very much so. And my part in it was kind of linear, you know, and then there's these.
But you're
other
kind of the
stories that-
straight man. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
very much so,
It's
yeah.
funny to see you in the straight man. I imagine when you read it, would you always think of
Because
yourself?
of my obvious homosexual proclivities, I understand. I know what you're getting to. It's fine.
You just made so many people happy. Yeah.
No, I was very aware when I read the script. I was very aware that Marty was as straight a man as there is in the story, and I knew that it was going to be a role that was quite reactionary. You know, I'm kind of spending my time processing the insanity that's whirling around me. He's you know, he's kind of like the centrifugal pillar of normality through which all this chaos revolves around. You know, and he's not the last survivor, but he is one of the last survivors at the end of the film, unless, as I said, I haven't seen the film yet. He's got many options at the end, but he's a few to tinker with.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a
And also
cool
the moral
challenge.
heart. The moral heart of
Right.
the film, probably.
Right, that's cool. I mean, it was a good challenge because there was a lot of chaos going on around, but it was different. It was an interesting way for me to inhabit a world that is familiar to me, even though the story is very different, having done in Bruges and having seen Martin's work and read Martin's work, but do it in a unique way where it wasn't. It was. I'm more like Brendan's character in Bruges, and Sam is more like Ray, even though Sam's completely doing his own thing, and I hope I'm doing the same. So it was a different way to experience something that was familiar to me.
And how did you always have? Obviously, this is your directorial debut, even though for your work, correct? Am I right in that?
No, Bruges was first, and this is the second.
This is the second. And how did you always have Colin in mind?
I wrote it even before
Just
we
say
met.
yeah.
Yes.
I always have him in mind. I'm always happy to see him in something. But
Yes.
you did, or you didn't really?
Yes.
We're forcing you to say that, right?
Well, it was written even before we made in Bruges.
Oh, really?
So it was kind of before I even had an inkling of being able to make a movie.
I had myself in mind for it.
But we did talk about it, I guess, after we made Bruges. We talked about the idea of doing something again. And then maybe 2 or 3 years ago we said, kind of, maybe this one.
Yeah.
The lines are great. The delivery, you guys, it's just such a great job. And obviously your stuff that you do in theater is amazing.
Oh, thanks a lot.
So I'm happy that I got to meet you, and I'm always happy to see
Good to see
you
you, love.
in person and on screen. So,
Thank you.
Thank
all
you.
right. Good luck with
Cheers.
it.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mike.
All right.